All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Sorry for the long intro. My coffee maker is running slow. Maybe that's me. What's up? We're live. I bunch of people on Rockfan already. Cool. Bunch of people on YouTube. William, Denver. What's up? How are you? Hemcar. All right. Good to see you guys. I think the last show live stream was cool. We're going to keep doing the chat interaction at the end of the show. So I know I usually interact with people during the show, but I'm going to keep that to a minimum so I can get through the stories. And at the end of the show, we will open it up to, questions, comments. Not to say that you can't chat and comment. Go ahead and do all that stuff. Chat amongst yourselves. But I will interact more with the chat at the end of the show. And also thank people for donations. If there are any people to thank, and you know what to do if you want to donate to the show, there are a bunch of links in the description box. You know where to find them. You know what to do. The people that already donate, you know who you are. I really appreciate you. The donations are absolutely critical because this is one of my many jobs in life, one of my employments in life, self-employed mostly. So donations are critical, and I appreciate all your donations. So, all right. Saw this post, and I don't know. Well, we'll start with this one. We'll start with this one. How y'all doing, by the way? I hope y'all enjoyed the upload yesterday. There's some days I cannot make it to a live stream. Oh. So but I still give you some content when I'm not here, or try to. Whoops, that's not what that's a cool band, by the way. If that just showed up on your screen, that's a pretty cool band. All right. Apocalypse Now doesn't care about your culture wars or cults of personality, just physics. It's all physics. True story. And this is June to February temperature values over time. And this is where we are now, 2023. But you can see the temperature values are going up. Plotted on a graph. And the trend line suggests, of course, the very obvious, that they're going to continue going up. This is Elise Joshi posting this. Just landed in Vegas suburbia. Makes no sense. There's a lot of people that live in the Vegas suburbs. Why? Because it's cheaper to live there for a lot of people. Like if you live, in fact, Vegas is just a suburb of LA these days. Phoenix might be a suburb of LA. Like it's, people that just can't afford the cost of living in LA or don't want to afford the cost of living. Like maybe they want to put some money in the bank or save some money. They move to Phoenix or they move to Vegas. Because it's much cheaper to live there for now. For now. I think that affordability comes with a cost, though. It's certainly a cost to the overall environment, planet, the strain on resources, of course. But they build new homes, and it's same here. I mean, we live in a desert. The Los Angeles area is a desert. And the sprawl never ends. It never ends. They just keep building out towards the desert. It's like if you live in LA proper, it feels a little less deserty. It feels a little more like a different, there's trees and stuff. It feels a little more like an oasis. But as you go further out, if it gets hotter and dustier and more brown, like look at the brown, the browns of this video. Very apparent. And the physics of that are apparent too. I feel like I guess this video, I know I'm just letting the video roll over and over. I feel like the video sparked another thought for me, which is that the economy is really bad and people are struggling and stuff like that. And there's rampant inflation, and there's our debt is skyrocketing. But I also feel like I feel like we're reaching the end of right? There was a green revolution in the 70s where maybe there was a plateau with how much food we could produce, and there were revolutions in technology. And I think that's what I think that's what everyone is relying on, for the next, like, wave of a human expansion is like a revolution, revolutions in technology. Does that make sense? But I feel like we're definitely at a limit. We've reached the limits of technology and or, cheap, available, acquirable resources. And so that's part of the inflation too. That is absolutely part of the inflation. It's not just that, um, it's not, and that goes with oil, the price of oil or the availability of oil or energy, right? Or, the availability of energy, resources, all of it, water, fresh water that is required in not just growing food, but in processing, almost everything you make or buy. Definitely the base components of all the processing, the chemicals and and then um, the microchips and all that stuff requires like water, fresh water to produce. And we're reaching the end of the easily available resources, and it's becoming harder to get those resources and more expensive, and that is everywhere. And all of it together is creating like a squeeze. So what we're experiencing in the inflation is not just the increase in, it's several factors, not just the increase in the money supply, not just in the mismanagement of the money supply and the mismanagement of the economy. Um, Not just that, but the squeeze of resources and the easy availability of those things. Anyways, um, so all these things are happening. And are we going to technologize our way into the next? Are we going to? Um, is technology going to make things more efficient or more, resources more easily accessible? Probably not. Like uh, we're now in the business of fracking and tar sands and getting at the oil and the resources that are harder to get to because we're the easily acquirable oil is harder to get to now. We have to keep pumping in food and water and resources into all these mega cities. Every city in the United States that contains, one between 1 and 9 million people. How many cities are there those, are there of that number? I don't know, probably 10. You could easily name right now. Um, that's a lot of resources. That's a lot of resources. And those resources are harder to come by, harder to produce, harder to grow, harder to harvest, harder to more expensive to grow, harvest, produce, package. Also contributing to the inflationary pressure. And it's not gonna end anytime soon. Speaking of lithium, I wanted to see if I could get this in here. Let's see if Rumble will let me get it in. Um, mm, mm. I don't know. Come on, Rumble. Make it kind of annoyingly difficult, but we'll see. Is this the one? No. Is this the one? No. Is this the one? Yes. Come on. And how I don't know how easy this is going to be to share, or if you guys are going to be able to see it. Sure. We'll save it to library, create graphic, blah, blah, blah. We'll put it on the screen, see if you guys can see this. Oh, great. It's going to be like tiny. Rumble, come on, man. Rumble is a little bit. Where'd you guys put this? No, sorry, I didn't go away. Just. Okay, that's whack. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something else. Sorry. Should have worked this out before the show. I should have remembered that Rumble is not actually very. There are some things that are just extremely like not workable on Rumble. What ifs? Here we go. We'll just open it with Brave Browse. There we go. There we go. There we go. Sweet. I think that should do it. Okay. There we go. You guys can see that better. Little known fact. Many lithium batteries have direct connections to the Alberta tar sands, the largest and most destructive industrial project on Earth. Many lithium batteries. So this is, renewable energies are not renewable, and they all rely on oil. My latest essay explores this topic by looking at a newer type of battery called lithium sulfur and the links between sulfur planned for use at the Thacker Pass lithium mine in the fossil fuel industry. The Thacker Pass lithium mine would produce 5,800 tons of sulfuric acid per day for use in refining lithium. That would require importing almost 2,000 tons of sulfur per day. That's nearly 700,000 tons per year, roughly equivalent to the mass of 2 Empire State Buildings annually. Revenue from sulfur sales is not unimportant to the economics of tar sands oil extraction. One report found that as much as 500,000 barrels per day of tar sands product would be uneconomical to extract if legal levels of sulfur allowed in bunker fuel were lowered. Another report found that developing a plan for storing, selling, or disposing of the sulfur will help to ensure the profitability of oil sands operations. More than 90% of sulfur used in the United States comes from oil refineries, and lots of what is imported into the U.S. originates at the Alberta tar sands. I mean, again, hopefully, right, I guess we may there may be a magic technology out there that gives us lots of energy without all the destruction and damage. I don't know. I lost myself again. Hello. I lost myself again. Anyways, expansion of humans is not necessarily the wisest. We're not doing it in the best way. And it's fairly obvious. We're not thinking about the best way to do this. We just go forward with little or no care to the damage and destruction that we create. And yes, I do mean we as a collective. All right. Want to play this. This from Instagram. about I think you probably many of you have seen stuff like this or these kinds of reports or studies about school and the fact that it makes there's a really great cartoon about the kid who goes, it's like a animated video about a father and a son, and then, like, the son is very happy and joyous and, you know, just full of life, and he goes to school and he starts becoming more muted in color and, sad and somewhat depressed and whatever, and his spirit becomes gray, lifeless. um Anyway, school has that effect on people, and this is an interesting little a piece of video about a study done on children and their levels of creativity and what they call genius when they're young compared to when they get older, and they lose a lot of that creativity and genius because they have to conform to um school is not always about learning. A lot of times it's about just following the rules or learning to navigate society. And that's not necessarily about, I don't think that's necessarily always a bad thing. It's just the way in which it is done sometimes can be. All right, let's watch this.
Commissioned by NASA because they wanted to know how to hire more geniuses. So they hired George Land and his team to go out and figure out what makes the genius. So they started with a group of 5-year-olds and they gave them a creativity test. The way they defined genius was, how do you use your creative imagination to solve problems? And what they found was, of this group of 5-year-olds, 98% qualified as geniuses. Then they came back 5 years later when this group was 10 years old, and it was down to 30%. 5 years later at 15, it was down to 12%. And then I think they just kind of gave up in disgust. But George Land took it further and went out and surveyed adults and found that only 2% of adults. He attributed this to school, 100% to school, that you would take a population, 98% genius, and dumb them down to 2%. He said uncreative behavior and thinking is learned.
Okay, well, it was kind of having a difficult time playing, but you guys heard the audio, right? I don't know, and I feel like that's indicative of the idea that, like, people that have degrees and go to college aren't necessarily always smart. Sometimes they are, yeah. Like, sometimes people can be creative, intelligent, think around corners, be full of skepticism and questions and curiosity, and be, and be, college educated. But, I think a lot of times, having a degree doesn't necessarily say I know something or I don't know something, or I am an intelligent person, or, I'm able to use my mind in a curious way, right? Like, and some people without college degrees are way better at doing this. Okay. This is a surprising video. This is from what the hell is the name of that show that Yank Cenk Uygur hosts? Anyways, an Israeli spy threatened to murder Western. Oh, this is on Piers Morgan. Murder Western politicians on Piers Morgan. Anyone who gets in the way, even if they're politicians in the West, they are going to fall. This is weird. Mossad Youssef, an Israeli spy, threatens Western politicians on live TV. They will fall if they don't support Israel. Oh my, Okay. But there's absolutely no conspiracy of a particular group of people that want to control the planet. I'm not talking about Jewish people. I'm talking about a particular group of people. Obviously more Zionist than anything, but maybe not even maybe even Zionist isn't the right word. Anyways, let's watch this.
Iranian nuclear program is going to be destroyed, and anyone who gets in the way, it doesn't matter where they are, even if they are politicians in the West, they are going to fall, because we cannot afford.
Hold on, did you hear what he just said? He threatened politicians in the West that if they don't agree with Israel's war against Iran, that they're going to fall. And remember, he's an Israeli agent. Are you saying Israel will murder politicians in the West or get rid of them politically through bribery or whatever else? What do you mean the politicians in the West will fall if they don't agree to back Israel's war against Iran?
Yeah, we will not vote for them anymore.
Oh, no, well, you don't vote for them now. You're not in our country. What do you mean the politicians will fall?
We live in democracy, and we have the right to bring them up and to bring them down. Those who agree with Ayatollah, we don't want them in office. And all the sympathizers with terrorists like yourself, we don't want them even to be in our country.
Who is we, and how are you bringing down politicians in the West if they dare to defy Israel? Tell me how you're bringing them down.
I already answered you that.
Are you going to murder them, or are you going to bribe them? Or are you going to bribe someone else? Who are you going to
do? Jank is like acting like he doesn't know. I mean, obviously he's asking the question to get more clarity on it, but I think we all know that AIPAC handles pretty much all the politicians, or politicians in Congress, and especially the more powerful the politician, the more likely they will be controlled or handled by and funded by AIPAC. And AIPAC proudly and openly funds many of the politicians in our congressional races, and they brag about winning elections with their support and driving other politicians out if they go against their wishes, policies, etc. So it's fairly obvious how they can cause them to fall or bring them down. It's not really, well, probably not. A lot of people aren't really aware of this, so they don't think about it every day. They don't spend their days going like, oh, I'm concerned about our elections being tampered with. Maybe we should get rid of AIPAC. Maybe we should, maybe we should outlaw AIPAC being able to, to contribute to a foreign entity being able to contribute to our political campaigns, because that might be actually illegal, right? Wouldn't it be? Isn't there a law? I feel like that was in past elections, that was a subject or a topic that people brought up. They're like, yeah, you can't, China can't contribute to somebody's election campaign. Russia can't contribute to somebody's. Why would Israel be able to contribute to somebody's election campaign? It's freaking illegal, but they do it. They do it all the time, and they brag about it. So what's going on with that? What's the deal with Israel funding these politicians? Well, we obviously allow it, or they are blackmailed into making sure that we allow it, or Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Sounds like some blackmail. Um, Speaking of which, well, the blackmail rabbit hole, it goes deep. There was Epstein. There was Clinton. The Clintons. Clinton. And so many other politicians that were very friendly with Epstein. Trump. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, him too. At one time, they were buddies. At one time, they were partying. And then he was like, nah, I don't know that guy. And they lived right down the road from each other. CNN. Oh, did you guys hear about this? Mike Jeffries. So a big breaking story is that the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch has been arrested on charges relating to sex trafficking. Well, we'll look at this for just a second. Well, I mean, this is all you need to know. That's the headline. And Whitney Webb says another appendage of Leslie Wexner, from Victoria's Secret fame and other. I mean, he has a lot of companies and businesses, but he was a very close friend of Epstein. Leslie Wexner arrested. Another appendage of Leslie Wexner arrested for sex trafficking. Still lots of buzz about Epstein, plus claims about the so-called client lists. But Wexner is the untouchable man. For why that might be, see below. She goes on to explain, even with Epstein, the Epstein client list being a political issue in some circles, no one claiming they will release the list will even utter Wexner's name. So it seems like he's more of the kingpin than even Epstein. Epstein and Jeffries worked for him. They sex trafficked to benefit him. If you'd like to learn the likely reasons Wexner is untouchable, you can read my book, specifically Volume 2, for free on Archive, though buying the book is obviously appreciated for those that can. If you don't have time or interest in reading my book, here are some clues. Wexner has been training young leaders that now run AIPAC and top figures in Israel's government since the 1980s. Would you look at here? Wexner took control of the Iran-Contra drug smuggling airline, SAT, at a time when Epstein was meeting with the Clinton White House, specifically figures there who helped facilitate arms smuggling into the U.S. from China and the sending of secret U.S. military tech to China. Also, don't forget the drug running in and out of Mena, Arkansas, while Clinton was governor. And so many, so there's so many other things going on. Can you guys see this? Sorry if you can't. My bad. Anyways, no one covers that scandal, sending of U.S. military tech to China, except conservatives, and they leave these parts out because Israel was involved. Wexner's tax attorney was shot in the face in broad daylight the day before he was due to testify to the IRS about tax evasion, and a local police report blamed Wexner and Wexner's mob ties. Wexner got the report censored and was never investigated or charged. Epstein was not the brains of the op. He was just the manager. The fact that no one will go after Wexner should tell you all you need to know about how politicians and influencers cherry pick aspects of the case for often partisan benefits. Somebody said, be careful, Whitney. And I always think that too. She's always really exposing some pretty hot stuff. So there you go. The reasons why AIPAC is never forced to, well, JFK getting his head blown off in November a long time ago, I think was actually linked to the attempts to force AIPAC to register as a foreign agent. They were like, nah. But who is zooming who, and who's the dog and who's the tail? Who's wagging the tail? It's hard to know. I mean, they buy all our politicians and control all our politicians, but we send them billions of dollars every year. So what comes first? What's the, it's just a money go. It's just a money laundering, money go around. So that is very interesting. Let's see. Going to try and cover a couple more things before we start chatting a little bit. I know I started a little bit later, but I can't go too late. Denver sent me this. This is very interesting. Keep an eye on this. Senator Rand Paul sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security requesting additional information regarding DHS's and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, also known as CISA. He wanted information about their attendance at a Homeland Security conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and participation in a large-scale cybersecurity exercise on Election Day. The letter notes, over the past several months, foreign adversaries have sought to undermine confidence in our election through a series of cyber attacks aimed at the electoral process. Oh, you don't say. We've been talking a little bit about elections and election integrity. American public is appropriately concerned with the integrity of our election system. However, rather than monitoring cyber threats that may occur relative to the election, senior federal officials plan to spend Election Day. So this is rich. On Election Day, they're going to be doing a tabletop exercise on election security. What's the likelihood that a cyber attack, that while they're doing a tabletop exercise on a cyber attack during Election Day, that a cyber attack breaks out on Election Day? What are the chances, guys? Do you give that a high likelihood? They're going to spend Election Day participating in a 4-hour critical infrastructure tabletop led by CISA staff, followed by a networking reception. What? So he's requesting that they give him unredacted information on the exercise, etc. That's very concerning and wild, if you ask me. Cobra Kai Commander says 0 chances. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that certainly sets my mind at ease that they're doing a tabletop exercise about election security on Election Day. I'm pretty sure that'll be the safest election ever. This is interesting. No, this is not it. Oh, this is it, I guess. Let's try it again. Donald Trump says he's going to slap people with tariffs if they stop using the dollar as a reserve currency. Also, what are the chances that people start giving up the US dollar as a reserve currency? And in some cases already have. But with the rise of BRICS coming in hot, India and China, I think, resolved a border dispute recently, and then they are furthering their cooperation in the BRICS arena. Donald Trump announces plans to place 100% tariffs on countries who choose to abandon the US dollar. Yeah. Problems, anybody? I mean, the dollar is, our debt is spiraling out of control. The dollar is losing its value. That's clear and apparent. The possibility that people start giving up the use of the dollar and pricing things in other currencies, the possibility of that very high. So this is Trump's answer to that. It's somewhat ridiculous.
If a country tells me, sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being in the reserve currency, we're not going to salute the dollar anymore, I'll say that's okay. And you're going to pay a 100% tariff on everything you sell into the United States. And we love your product. I hope you sell a lot of it into the United States, but you're going to pay 100% tariff. He will then follow it up by saying, sir, it would be an honor to stay with the reserve currency. That will be like just playing. That's not even chess, that's checkers. But you don't have listen to this. You don't have other people that can talk that way. If a country tells me, sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being.
Yeah. So threats, threats ought to do it. Everybody's losing confidence in the dollar, and I'm threatening people with tariffs. That'll totally do it. That'll win friends and influence people, don't you think? Here's Cuba's experience with tariffs, because they're not tariffs, sanctions. They're heavily sanctioned right now by the U.S. Cuba has been entirely without electricity for 72 hours. The nationwide blackout is a direct consequence of the U.S.'s 60-year blockade, which has sabotaged the island's power grid by restricting access to fuel and critical materials needed for repairs.
Of infrastructure added to the lack of
what they get for, being commies. This is what they get for being commies. You should have known.
Fuel and spare. Cuba is suffering an energy emergency, which has left the country for more than 72 hours without electricity. A fault in the main thermoelectric plant caused the total collapse of the national electrical system, affecting basic services to the population, such as the supply of gas and drinking water. The authorities are working to restore the service, but the fragility of infrastructure added to the lack of fuel and spare parts to operate it hinder efforts. President Miguel Díaz-Canel has blamed the United States' intensified blockade as the main reason for the blackout.
Hoy nosotros tenemos dos problemas. Uno, que no tenemos el combustible que necesitamos, y otro, que no hemos podido dar las reparaciones que necesitamos. Y todo eso pasa por divisa. Divisa que no tenemos por la persecución financiera y combustible que no tenemos por la persecución energética. Y es el bloqueo recrudecido de estos tipos. Y aquí hay gente que no quiere que se hable de bloqueo.
With its financial persecution policy, Washington sanctions those who decide to do business with Cuba and prohibit the sale of third countries' oil to the island. For decades, the blockade has prevented the free economic and social development of Cuba in an imperialist commitment to generate discomfort and anger in the population. The Cuban government, meanwhile, has warned that the delicate situation could extend beyond the current moment and has insisted that it will continue working to guarantee the rights of the population.
Hay que seguir haciendo una alerta a la población. Seguimos en emergencia energética. Incluso cuando salgamos de esta situación de desconexión total que tuvimos, vamos a estar todavía en una situación de emergencia energética que va a variar en dependencia de qué resultado en todo un grupo de gestiones que hemos hecho para financiamiento y todo un grupo de gestiones que se han hecho para tener disponibilidad de combustible.
But while the United States continues to pressure the Cuban government, countries such as Venezuela, Russia, Mexico, Colombia, and Barbados have already offered emergency aid to Cuba. On the island, the Cuban people continue to resist despite adversities.
Okay, so yeah, just spreading, again, democracy, goodwill. That's what we do. And to countries that may want to do things their own way, not capitulate to American business interests, maybe do things that benefit the people and not the, global capital market. Those countries generally face some kind of persecution from the U.S., if not straight up boots on the ground, democracy at the end of a rifle. All right. And let's see. Lastly, the billionaire CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, the world's largest investment company, $11.5 trillion in assets. That is just, I can't even, it's hard to even think about how much money that is, but it's a lot of money. $11.5 trillion in assets. He said the quiet part out loud. It doesn't matter if Kamala or Trump wins because capitalist oligarchs will keep getting richer, of course. The winner of all U.S. elections is Wall Street. Well, if if APAC is doing their jobs correctly and not letting anybody who might actually change the system get in there or even like put a dent in the system get in there, well then yeah, they're always going to win. If they always make sure that whoever is on the ticket is is friendly, they'll be okay. And they make sure, that's why, they make sure that they get their candidate. Right? He says, I'm tired of hearing this is the biggest election in your lifetime. The reality is over time, it doesn't matter. That's funny. And then this is a good follow-up comment. If you sum that with the following declaration of Sergei Lavrov of Russia, you get that Wall Street is responsible for the wars. He said, regardless of the U.S. election outcome, we will remain an opponent, if not an enemy for the United States. In any case, they see us as their competitor. Yeah. All right. Just going to check out some of the chats here. Checking out some of the chats. Let's see. Teresa says we're experiencing a solar maximum. Okay, well. War is exempt from environmental regulations. It is. The military, the army, the military industrial complex is exempt from reporting their damage, and it doesn't really matter. It's like whatever it takes, whatever it costs the planet or the people, do it. Get her done. That is the mindset, and that will continue to be the mindset. But let's see. Is Gitmo helping? Says Zalipa. What's up, Zalipa? How you doing? Petrodollar was a bad idea. Abandoning the gold standard. Oh, let me check out and see if I got any contributions from the people. Not as of yet. True. Putting sanctions on them means we steal their dollars, adds to the momentum. Oh, you're talking about the tariffs, right? Sorry. I thought you were not talking to the audience. No, Salt Lickers, did you? Yeah, I didn't hear me. I'm talking to the audience at the end of the show. So at the end of the show, I'm doing a little like open, kind of like more interaction with the chat. So you got to wait till the end of the show. We're going to do about 10 minutes of banter instead of doing it at the beginning, which I think kind of just gets in the way of like actually getting through all the things that I want to get through. So we're going to do it at the end and also give people a chance to donate to the show if they want to donate to the show, and I can thank people and all that kind of stuff. And then people can give me their thoughts, opinions about whatever. Right. So I don't know if I didn't make that clear to y'all, but that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of trying to do it this way, because I know that people expect me to do more interaction with people during the show, but it's a little distracting to actually covering things. I'm kind of ADHD and I get kind of distracted and I kind of go off on tangents, and it can get a little bit like yeah, hard to focus. And also I think people get all like emotional about me not like responding to their chats, and I just can't do that. I can't respond to everybody's chat, and so this takes away some of the expectation, hopefully. Because I don't know. Judy Truitt says, I keep thinking about a book I read describing the fall of the Roman Empire. They had a lot of sexual parties. So you're talking about what Caligula? Is it? Do you remember I think Caligula was famous for orgies. Am I right there? You like the rants? I'll give you a rant. You want a rant? I'll give you a rant. I mean, sometimes I got to go on a rant, but Sometimes I got to go on a rant, but also sometimes I like to just get through the information and kind of like cover the stories I want to cover because, you know, but I get a lot of links also on Rockfin because it's easier to leave links on Rockfin. Joseph Wood, ocean rise due to thermal mass increases logarithmic. Expansion, ocean heat content. Science Talk with Jim Massa. Jim Massa, a scientific dude when he wants to be. We're not going to listen to this right now. Hold on, I'm sorry, I got to turn it off. I'm going to watch this later. I've had Jim Moss on the show before. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's a cool guy. I think he doesn't. We kind of unfollowed each other on Twitter, or he blocked me or something because his views on Ukraine were extremely childish and uninformed. So just because you're a smart guy in the science field doesn't necessarily mean that you know anything about anything when it comes to, wars or COVID or other things, whatever, anything else. Everybody's myopic on some level, right? You know a whole lot about one certain thing, and you're an expert and you're very learned and esteemed. It doesn't mean you know everything about everything. You could actually just walk straight into a ditch filled with snakes, because you're just like, oh, I'm a smart person. By my calculation, this ditch is totally fine. Whoops. Walk straight into that. Whatever. Martha Stewart's orgy book? What is that? Wait, what is this? Wait. I'm going back. Babylon Bees documentary on J6? What is that? Oh, by the way, if you guys want to send me stuff, you can send me stuff on Twitter. Just Black Bear News, the #1, at Black Bear News, the #1 on Twitter, or go to the Black Bear News chat on Telegram. You can send me stuff there. It's a place where people exchange a lot of links and thoughts and stuff. That's t.me/Black Bear News chat. That's on Telegram. So you guys can go there and, I try to check in there when I can during the day, at least once a day. But I have, I don't know, 10 social media platforms I'm trying to check every day, and I can't keep up with it all. I see why people kind of like get into one platform and just kind of hang out there, which is probably way more efficient. But I have several platforms and several accounts on several platforms that I'm trying to manage, and I just cannot see everyone all the time. But Telegram is a good spot. Twitter is a good spot. Post a link in Telegram going south. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please do. Please post that link. I'll check it out. What else? Google censored the title of the political documentary. Right ahead of the election. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. I need a robot. Yeah. Indeed. I don't know why my computer keeps getting weird on the screen. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Oh, it's so strange. Okay, sorry. I'm getting distracted. Don't ever let me get distracted. All right, William, take it easy. Enjoy your day. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. You chipped a bone stepping into a hidden hole in the snow. Oh man. Oh, that sucks. That sounds like it hurts. A hidden hole in the snow. Yeah, I hate when those happen. Those are the worst. Absolutely the worst. I don't know how much I can believe of the numbers I'm seeing of people watching on whatever platforms, but I kind of Rockfin to me seems like the most. I don't, but I'm not even sure because I heard that they had. I have like 18,000 followers on Rockfin, which is kind of crazily great. YouTube stopped letting me get subscribers like a long time ago, years and years and years ago. So many years ago, they were just like, "That's it, buddy." We see that people like your channel, and there's no way in God's green earth that we're going to let you get, 10 or 20,000 followers. We're going to cap you at 3,000. That's you're not even going to get past 3,000. We'll never let you do that. And they did that. So, and then they have been slowly kind of taking away followers over time. It depends on what I'm talking about. It's a little creepy and scary, but like when I do just climate change content and when I kind of just stick to the one subject and I don't say anything like too strange conspiratorial, like they start at giving me followers again. I'm like, oh, so if I just censor myself and play the game and be a nice boy and do all the good things, then you guys will let me get followers again. Oh, but I'm not going to do that because I mean, I guess, I could just stick to one subject and just never talk about anything else. Seems limiting and boring, and it wouldn't be me. And like, what's the point? What's the point of doing a podcast if you're not going to talk about the things that are important or interesting to you? Like, I might as well, if I'm going to just do something for the sake of like getting a following and like getting ad revenue on YouTube, I can do so many other things, where I'm just sticking to one piece of content and just pumping it out there. But like, this show, the tagline is where everything's connected, right? Black Bear News, everything's connected. The tagline of the show tells you the content of the show. Everything is connected, right? So you can't just talk about one thing without like including other things in the plus, I should buy some subscribers. Yeah. Yeah, that's just one of the things that YouTube has been doing to me over the last 5 years, but they do several things to me that are not very nice. But what I find though is that if I just do me, I'm going to just be me and talk about the things I want to talk about. I don't know. I think for the people that get it or people that like it and the people that are interested in the content, like they're going to come. They'll be here and they'll enjoy the content and they keep coming back, right? I'm not like becoming a different person just to appease the algorithms or appease the censor gods. I'm not going to. I could do that somewhere else, right? I don't need to do that here. And I think in the long run that'll serve me better. You posted it on Telegram? I don't see it going south. How come I don't see it? Do I need to update Telegram? I don't know. I would just rather just be me on this show. There's no sense in, there's no point in being somebody else. All of the other characters are taken. I don't know why I can't see your post on Telegram, bro. Bro? Oh, where'd he go? I am confused, y'all. Oh, I see. I just want this. Come on. Let's see. Are you sure you posted it on Telegram, or did you post it in the other chat? Did you post it in the India chat? There's also another chat room, like an Indian chat room. I don't see it, man. Going south. Did you post it in the right spot, or did you send it to me in somewhere else? I don't see it. All right, guys. Well, that is all very interesting. All of it. Oh, here we go. All right. Denver sent me this very early in the show. Maybe we'll play this. Really? How come I can't see it? Dude, it's not in the chat. Oh, I think I've seen this one. It's long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but maybe I'll play a couple seconds of it. Where is it? Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay, I got it. Let's share this tab. Here we go. Here we go. I'm telling you, if I did like 3-hour shows, I'd get so many more viewers. Because the longer the show you do, the more people just kind of, I don't know, it's just like a thing that happens over time. People just kind of wander in and hang out for like a while. And when I do the short shows, I feel like I'm just like cutting it out. Yeah, you posted the other one. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, that one is a little bit weird. It's kind of cool. It's a little weird. I just don't want to like have, again, so many apps and I'm, I have 2 different BlackBerry news chats. I don't know. Just get on Telegram or don't. I don't know if I'm going to monitor the Indian chat very much anymore. Just if you can figure out Telegram, great. If you can't, I don't know to tell you. I have to kind of like simplify my life a little bit. I can't monitor all these chats and all these social media accounts. So that's just my little, like a mini rant, not directed at you going south. I love you, man. keep on keeping on and sending me interesting stuff. But let's, I gotta like somehow simplify what I'm looking at during the day. Cause there's no way I can look at all these things.
Intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
He is sharp.
Oh, great. This is going to take forever to...
Intensely probing and detail-oriented and focused.
For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's smart. He's on his game. His mental acuity is great.
This is a very sharp president.
And the people that I've talked to say he's as sharp as a tack. He's fine.
They say he's sharp.
There's not a problem. He was sharp. He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
The president is sharp and he is tireless. He is sharp.
As sharp as ever.
And he's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity is declined is wrong.
His brain is good. He's still great.
His brain is good.
I believe the people who say that behind closed doors, Joe Biden remains sharp.
In meetings, Joe Biden is sharp.
He's sharp. He's fit.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp. He's sharp as a tack.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
Actually, Joe Biden is sharper and has more mental acuity than Donald Trump, because more people believe that actually Joe Biden.
Okay, I think you guys get the picture. That's on Matt Orfala's channel if you want to go watch that on YouTube. That's pretty funny. All right. Thanks, guys. Let me do one last cruise around the donation channels. And I thank you, appreciate you all for being here and for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day to the best of your abilities. And I will see you next time. Peace.